Imagine standing on the deck of a ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The wind is gentle, the waves are calm, the sails are still raised. Nothing looks wrong, and yet, you are completely alone. No voices, no footsteps, no signs of life. In December of 1872, sailors encountered a ship drifting aimlessly across the Atlantic, fully intact, seaworthy, and stocked with supplies. But the 10 people who sailed her had vanished. This is not a ghost story. This is not a legend. This is the true story of the Mary Celeste, the ship that refused to explain itself. Before she became history's most famous ghost ship, the Mary Celeste was ordinary. She wasn't cursed. She wasn't feared. She wasn't special. She was a merchant brigantine, strongly built, dependable, and trusted by those who sailed her. And captaining her on this final voyage was a man named Benjamin Spooner Briggs. Briggs was not reckless. He was not inexperienced. He was not desperate. He was respected, deeply religious, and known for his careful judgment at sea. This journey mattered to him, not just professionally, but personally. Because for this voyage, he brought his family. His wife, Sarah Briggs, intelligent and well-read, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, too young to understand the sea that would soon claim her story. Alongside them were 7 crew members, men with families, futures, and reasons to come back home. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste departed New York Harbor, bound for Genoa, Italy, carrying 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. No one waved goodbye thinking it would be permanent. No one sensed danger. The ship slipped into the Atlantic, and history quietly followed. The early days of the voyage were unremarkable. The weather was fair. The ship handled well. The crew settled into routine. Captain Briggs wrote calmly in the ship's log, "Nothing dramatic, nothing unusual." Sarah spent her days reading and caring for Sophia. Meals were shared. Laughs were exchanged. This matters. Because whatever happened later, it didn't begin with chaos. It began with normal life. The last known log entry, dated November 25, 1872, placed the Mary Celeste near the Azores Islands. The handwriting was steady. The words were routine. No storm, no fear, no emergency. And then, the log ended. Not torn out, not damaged, just stopped. 10 days later, on December 5, another ship appeared on the horizon. Her name was the Dei Gratia. From a distance, the sailors noticed something strange. A ship drifting. Her sails partially raised, her course uncertain. Experienced sailors know this feeling, the sense that something isn't right, even when everything looks fine. When they boarded the vessel, they expected damage. Instead, they found absence. No crew, no captain, no child. The Mary Celeste was empty. But here's what made their blood run cold. The ship was seaworthy, the cargo was intact, food and water were plentiful. Personal belongings were untouched. Captain Briggs' boots sat neatly by his bed. Sarah's sewing lay unfinished. Sophia's cup rested quietly on a table. The clock had stopped, and one thing, only one, was missing. The lifeboat. Walking through the Mary Celeste felt wrong. It was as if life had paused mid-breath. Nothing suggested a struggle. Nothing suggested violence. No blood. No overturned furniture. No broken equipment. The ship hadn't been abandoned in panic. It had been left. Which raised the most terrifying question of all. Why would 10 people, including a mother and her toddler, voluntarily abandon a perfectly good ship in the middle of the ocean? Experienced sailors know the rule. You do not leave a seaworthy ship, unless something makes staying feel more dangerous than the sea itself. Speculation spread quickly. Some whispered mutiny, but mutineers don't abandon treasure and vanish without a trace. Others suggested pirates, but nothing was stolen. Then there were the darker ideas, sea monsters, giant squids, the supernatural, but the ship showed no signs of attack. And slowly, a quieter theory emerged. The cargo, the alcohol barrels. Industrial alcohol can release fumes. Invisible, flammable, deadly. Perhaps Captain Briggs smelled something unusual. Perhaps he feared an explosion. So he may have ordered everyone into the lifeboat, just temporarily. Tethered to the ship, waiting for danger to pass. But the ocean is unforgiving. A sudden wind, a snapped rope, a drifting ship. The Mary Celeste sailed on. And the lifeboat was left behind. Alone. Imagine that moment. A small lifeboat. 10 souls. Waves growing stronger. Watching your ship drift farther away. The supplies limited. The horizon endless. No evidence suggests they survived. No wreckage was ever found. No bodies ever recovered. The Atlantic swallowed them completely. And the Mary Celeste, empty, silent, continued her journey without them. When the ship reached port, the world demanded answers. Instead of sympathy, suspicion followed. The men who found her were accused. Investigations dragged on, reputations were ruined, but no evidence ever surfaced. The Mary Celeste was cleared. Yet her name was cursed. No crew wanted her, owners abandoned her, she drifted through years of neglect until, in 1885, she met a quiet end, deliberately wrecked on a reef for insurance money. No mystery, no justice, just waves, and wood, and silence. The Mary Celeste doesn't haunt us because of what we know. She haunts us because of what we never will. No final goodbye, no last scream, no explanation, just a ship that kept sailing, and people who disappeared as if they were never there. Somewhere in the Atlantic, the ocean still holds their story. And maybe that's the most terrifying truth of all. Not that the sea took them, but that it never gave them back.